Welcome back to Hanratty's Huddle. We are doing a visual today with Terry, who is experiencing some vacation time or some R&R time down in Florida. Terry, how are you?
Well, it's wonderful, but it's only 80 degrees down here, Dave.
Oh, that's
I'm,
all?
I'm feeling pretty bad. I had shorts on. Did my 4 mile walk this morning,
Very nice.
and played golf. Yes, you know what I did? I played golf at a par three course.
Okay.
They have guys go off, groups go off every 10 minutes, and it is packed. You can't. I could not. We could not get another time. It was
Yeah.
booked the whole time we were going to be here, and
Well,
it's interesting because the shortest hole was 66 yards
okay.
and the longest hole was 211. Then most of them were
211.
right around the 100. So it was interesting to play. I haven't played a par three course in 100 years.
So you certainly didn't need a full bag of clubs. You just needed like a pitching wedge, maybe a 7, 8 iron, maybe obviously a putter, right?
Well, I left my clubs at home. I didn't want to bring them
I
down
know
here and
that, but
trek them down here for the whole for just a par three course. So we rented them, and they all of a sudden I look at the bag. There's a driver, there's a 3 wood, there's a 2 iron, 3 iron, 4 iron. Go whoa 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 whoa! What's all these clubs for? I could have probably used a 7 iron in my putter, and that's it. And you could have, because the one hole, the 200 yarder would take me a couple shots to get there, but everything else was within 7 iron. And if it's 66 yards, I'm just going to bump and run with my 7 iron. So
yeah, yeah.
it was interesting.
Okay, so and where exactly are you in Florida?
In Del Rey,
Okay, very
and
nice.
it's very lovely. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants. The hotels are beautiful, and
All right.
it's quite nice. And it's nice. We've never done this to get away in the January February era, and get away from that snow and cold up north. But it was nice to put on a pair of shorts and just walk for a few miles.
I hear you. I will be doing something similar next week. We'll be headed to Aruba for at least 10 days, and we do that. We've done that the past few years. My father-in-law, God rest his soul, had a timeshare, which I had encouraged my wife for years to sell until I went down a couple years ago, and I was like, "Don't sell it. We're keeping."
once
I-
you once you get away from that wind and that
Yeah,
cold, then you go, wait a minute,
yeah.
maybe this isn't too bad.
This time of year, yeah, when you can get a break and you can get away and you can experience the warmth what's nice really is when you come back, it's spring is either here or it's close.
Yes.
And it's also, when we go down to Aruba, they're an hour ahead. So it's 11:45 here now, so it's 12:45 there. And when we go down there, the clocks go ahead, so we miss that whole transition, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right. So, a couple things to talk about. You had something on your mind about the Texas basketball coach, which is, I don't know if people saw the story, but you tell the story and I'll fill it in.
No, it was really interesting because UCF, University of Central Florida, beat Texas in Texas. And I guess the kids from UCF gave, Texas always gives the hook 'em horns with the,
Yep.
the sign up like that, which is cool. But UCF, I guess, did it downward, like whatever negative to them.
Yeah.
And I saw the receiving line after the game where you shake hands, blah 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 blah,
Yep.
and the coach was sort of reprimanding every kid as he Texas coach
Yeah.
was reprimanding every kid as he was going down the line, and these kids looked so stunned that an adult coach from the opposing team would actually say something to them. Now, this coach is so off the charts out of line there. If he has a problem with UCF, he goes to the coach, talks to the coach, and if the coach deems necessary, he will talk to his kids about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was for him just to reprimand the kids in line like that is just absurd.
Totally, totally out of line. I agree with you. I think his tail was between his legs because he lost the game. They were in Texas. His name is Rodney Terry. It says that he yelled at the players, during in the handshake line. Okay.
Yeah,
And so, I mean, listen, you shake their hand, you let them, they're not your kids, they're not your players. Like you said, you go to the UCF coach and you say, Coach, come here for a second. Great game, congratulations, your kids played well. But I have to tell you that when they put the horns down, that's a really disrespectful thing to do. And it's up to you if you want to address it or not. But it really did bother me. And you let him handle it.
And if you could have seen the facial expressions on the kids from Texas or from UCF
Yeah.
as the coach is yelling at them, they're going, "Wait a
Yeah.
minute, whoa, whoa!" They didn't expect that at all. I mean, it was out of line. There's no doubt this coach from Texas was definitely out of line. In
It-
fact, I'm surprised who came up with this handshake and stuff anyway. You win a game, you go to your locker room. You lose a game, you go to the locker room. Why do you got to come out and shake hands? It just that back in the old days that would never happen. I can see us losing a game and
Yeah.
Lambert going shaking hands with every player on the opposing team.
Well,
That wouldn't work too well. Or Ernie Holmes got to go. Ernie, you got to go shake hands with all the opposing guys. You just tried to knock them out.
yeah.
That would not work well.
It's nice to see like after a like in the Stanley Cup after the series is over and okay, the competition is over, the series. I like that in the NHL, but I mean, if they have to, if you think it's, and by the way, the head coach for UCF is Johnny Dawkins. And Johnny Dawkins, I mean, was a
He's a class guy, Prairie Duke. Yes,
yeah,
class guy.
played at Duke, great player at Duke. So you go to Johnny, and both of the, not that this matters, but I'm just going to say it because both of these coaches are African American. All right. So you would think it's just like, okay, hey, get you guys on or whatever. But in my opinion, I agree with you totally. He handled it absolutely wrong, and really, he looks like a fool. Yeah, actually.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so we move on from college basketball to, and by the way, St. John's is having a heck of a season. I'm not
I'll
a
tell
fan.
you what, you got to take your hat off to Rick Pitino.
Yeah,
I mean, here St. John's has struggled in their last five coaches,
yeah,
and they couldn't win anything. And Pitino comes in the second year, he's got them ranked number 9 or 10 in the country.
and moving up. Yeah, they won again last night.
And
Yeah,
they are really going to put themselves well, in the tournament. They're probably going to be a second at maximum, third seed.
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. And Patino, and they tend, the announcers were talking the other game when I was watching it. They don't have a lot of talent, shooting talent, but they harass you the whole game.
Okay, all
And I
right.
saw them against UConn, and it was just, I mean, UConn could barely get the ball across the 30-second
Yeah,
line.
no, and they beat UConn twice now this year. So
Yeah, yeah, that's
the
good.
Big East tournament will be very interesting. In terms of Rick Pitino, he's obviously a great basketball coach. I don't know if he's a great human being. I personally don't care for him and some of the antics that he's pulled. But that's my problem, not his. I'm sure he could give a crap. But
Yeah, I'm sure you go down the list, and everybody got something.
geez, Dave Torromeo doesn't like me. What am I going to do now? So,
I'm quitting
but
now. Come on,
but you know what?
Romeo's against me. Goodbye.
And by the way, Ed Cole, the AD there, is a guy that I know, and he's a good guy and is good AD. So they have things lined up there pretty well at St. John's. And by the way, when I say lined up, Mike Rapino, you know that name?
Yes, yes.
So he's the guy who sold vitamin water to Coca-Cola. He's a billionaire. He's big into
He
the
did
horse
he did
game.
very well with that transaction.
Did very well, and also post that he did very well. But I mean, the point is, in this NIL world now, where it used to be under the table or hey, come over. Now he can just be as flagrant as he wants to be with his money with these players, and it's going to make a difference. I mean, they can buy players. Literally, that's what's happening.
Well, the kid from Duke,
Yeah.
he wants to stay another year and said if he can get $7 million,
Jeez. Eh.
he'll stay. I can't. It's hard for it to come out of my mouth. I mean, the kid is good. Cooper Cup.
Oh, it's great. It's
No,
great.
what's it? No, it's not a cup.
No, cool flag.
Flag. I
Yeah.
got football and basketball mixed up
Yeah,
there.
it's okay. It's all right. You're
But
entitled.
no, I mean, the kid is a great player, and he's really great to watch. And he's probably going to be the first guy taken in the NBA draft after his freshman year, and boom,
Yeah.
or sophomore year. And I mean, it's amazing how much money he would make in the pros. But he said, well, I could put it off a year and make $7 million a year. Why not?
It used to be a kid would stay in college because he wanted to get that education. Now I'm just going to stay in college and make 7 mil. Like,
Well, that's the sad part because I mean he's going to make the 7 mil,
yeah,
and he's going to make a lot more of that, staying healthy and playing in the pros. But there are guys, he's the exception to the rule. There's a lot of guys that are going to come out thinking they can make it in the pros that aren't going to make it in the pros. They have no degree and they have no pro team to play for.
that's right.
Where do you go?
That's right. Yep.
I mean, that's the sad part. The top 10% are you can't hurt them because they're going to make the money no matter what because they're the best.
yeah.
But there's a big group in the middle that aren't going to make that money. That's the sad part because they're not going to have the degree and they're not going to have a team to hang their hat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting, and but you know what? There is a big difference between NBA and college basketball because I mean, NBA is almost every night from September through June. College basketball is October to now March, February, March, and so yeah, a lot more games, a lot more things to consider. So
Yeah, it's twice as many games.
yeah,
College, you're playing in the 30s if you go into the deep in the tournament.
yep,
In the
yep,
pros, you're scheduled to play 64 no matter what playoffs happen.
that's right.
So it's a long season and it's a grueling season because
Really,
it's not a football contact which is once a week, but basketball you're running on that hard surface
that's
that
right.
beats the hell out of your ankles and your knees and your hips, and when you fall on that wood, there's nothing there to protect you. So your bone is going against that wood, and that hurts. So
Yes.
you can take a good beating in basketball.
Yes, you can. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on, and obviously we are coming up to March Madness here pretty soon. It's going to be very interesting, conference tournaments, etc. Obviously the business of the NFL, it goes on and on. And right now we are in the combine phase of our NFL calendar. It just started today. But they actually had the media and the big news coming out is they thought this kid Abdul from Penn State might be the number one pick. He's got a stress fracture in his foot. What do you make of that?
Stress fractures scare me. And
Yeah,
the biggest one that really jumps out at me anyway is Bill Walton. I mean, here was one of the
yeah,
greatest college basketball players of all time. I mean, this kid was really, really good. But he had problem with the stress fractures. And he had a really good pro career. He played a long time with the bad bones. But you wonder. I mean, they got to take a real strong look at this kid. I mean, he's a great player. A lot of people have him projected as number one player in the draft.
yeah,
So you got to take a look at that and just say, wait a minute, we got to have all our doctors come in and take a look at this guy because the money that they are investing in these kids now are just
right.
incredible. You cannot make a mistake or you really hurt.
Yeah, well, it says that he didn't want doesn't want the surgery, um, but it is a stress fracture, and he's not. I don't think he's at the combine. He's gonna work out at his pro day. So listen,
Which is not a flag in itself because most of the top kids, especially the quarterbacks, they are working out at their pro day,
yeah,
at their own, individual one. Like, Notre Dame every major university has a pro day, which helps the kids in the area. Because if you're from Indiana State, you're
yeah,
probably not invited to the combine. But if
right,
you call Notre Dame up and Notre Dame's having their combine at X date, can I come? And they'll let the local kids come to the pro day, so the pros scouts can get a look at these kids at the smaller schools,
right.
which is really helpful to them. And everybody does that. Everybody throughout the country, all the major schools.
Yeah, so this will be going on for the next few months with scouts traveling all over, the country trying to evaluate talent. But getting back to this injury, not just for this kid, and I feel bad. I mean, he's not going to have because they told him he'd have to have a screw inserted. He doesn't want to do that. But I mean, he's a great player. But at the end of the day, you really have to be concerned if you have this guy on your list and you have a chance to take him. I mean, you're going to have to be because he could last a year, like you're saying. This is an injury that could stay with them for a long time.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's something that you really have to take a look at. And I don't even know if a doctor can say he's good for 5 years
Yeah.
because those stress factors they are really tricky. So I don't know any even if a doctor would go out on a limb and say, hey, he's good to go.
Yep.
So it could be hurtful for him.
Yeah, it's too
Hell
bad.
of a player too.
What are your thoughts about this whole combine thing in Indianapolis? I mean, is it obviously it's a big deal now because I mean it's televised. You can sit here and watch it, live.
Oh, I think it's really good for especially the coaches and general managers of all the pro teams can get a chance to talk to the kids. Everybody can see,
I talk to each other. Yeah.
yeah, everybody can see these kids on film. Everybody can watch go to their games that they played in college and see them play and react in different situations. But until you can get them in a room where you can sit across the table for them, ask them pertinent questions. What do you think of your coach today? What are you looking for in a pro team?
Yeah.
And get down to the real nitty gritty. How was your family life? And they ask
Yeah.
some very, very difficult questions. I don't know if they have the test anymore. They still have that Wonderlic.
The Wonderlic test. I don't know if they still use
Yeah,
that.
I think they
I,
did away with that thing
I think they might have.
because because they had some great players scoring a two.
Yeah, I don't think they were taking it
So
seriously. So
so there wasn't much could be done on that Wonderlic. But just the name of that test is
yeah,
humorous.
there's
But
just
I think that's what the pro teams are looking for now. Be able to sit down and talk to these kids and find out, who they are. I mean, you get more out of
yeah,
that than you can watching a film of a game.
yeah. All right, so when you get back from Florida, when I get back from Aruba, you and I are going to try some of these things. These are some of the tests that they go through: 40-yard dash, bench press, vertical jump, broad jump, three cone drill, 20-yard shuttle, and 60-yard shuttle. Um, let's try that up at
Waveney,
Waveney
we'll
or
put we'll put the
Dunning
cones
Field.
up. We
Yeah,
may
we'll put
need a we may need a week to get through all those drills.
I'm seeing your old friend Lou Marinelli today for a drink. It's been a long time, and I wanted to congratulate him on his great success this
I
past year.
give Lou my best.
I will do that, and I'll ask him to make some arrangements for us, and maybe we'll get that videotape for the podcast. So
uh, that would be our last podcast.
that might be the one that gets the most attention. So, so anything else on your mind?
No, I think right now we're in good mode. Have you seen any of this simulated golf
No.
that they have on ESPN? They have
Oh, I
teams
yeah,
like eight.
yeah,
There's 8 teams. Tiger and Rory are the big money
yeah,
behind it, and
right.
they've got a lot of like Arthur Blank from Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
Arthur
the owner, yeah,
it's a few dollars in his pocket.
just a few.
He invested in the Atlanta group, and I think there's other big names in the cities. And there's like 8 cities: Boston, Atlanta,
Yeah,
Palm Beach has one, LA has one, and New York, and a couple more.
yeah,
But and these guys, I mean, it's an interesting concept. I don't know if it's ever going to catch on because it's an arena, and you're hitting into this huge screen like you would on any simulated golf thing. I know
yeah,
guys that have them in their basement,
yeah,
but this screen is probably 40 by 40 feet.
yeah,
So, and you're playing these goofy courses that they set up, and you're hitting over lava and craziness.
yeah.
But it's pretty interesting. I've seen it a lot, and I like it.
Yeah, you
It's
like
fun to
it.
watch. I don't
But
know if
listen,
it's going. I don't know if it's going to catch on. It could be one of those things. That, okay, a year from now, forget it. But
yeah,
I
but
mean, you have to build
listen.
an arena for this thing. That's the costly thing.
Well, not really. I've seen these simulators, and I've been to some. There's Four Star in Golf over where we did the clubhouse a couple years ago over Mount Kisco. It's really not that big of a facility, but they have bays. They had at least 6 bays, and you could play any golf course in the world. And it's
No,
pretty.
those things are great. But
Yeah,
the one I'm talking about,
yeah.
it's in an arena where
Oh,
they built the
right.
arena where there are fans and two
Yeah.
two tier
Okay.
two tier fans and all around it, and they are
Yeah.
going crazy.
That's a little
And it's
strange.
fun
Yeah.
because you can see the pros having fun playing this stuff. But the
Yeah.
winning team makes $9 million, so it's
Well,
not they're not doing it for fun.
of
I mean,
course they're not doing it for fun. They do it.
so
It's there's always a
so I don't know
carrot
how
at the
much
end
to
of the
build
stick.
to build one of these arenas. I think it's going to cost a lot, and I don't know if it's going to be able
All
to
right.
generate
Well,
that kind of income.
if they're trying to grow the game, if that's part of their plan, then that's probably always a good thing for golf because
That's exactly it. Yes.
yeah. So Okay, Mr. Hanratty. Anything else on your mind?
No, no. I just want you to have a great vacation, and
Yeah, you do the same.
Rob Adams and I will be
Yeah.
carrying the load for the next couple weeks. And
Carry the Hanratty Huddle flag. Listen, watch out for gators down there if you're golfing. I don't know if they're around your area, but
believe I don't. I look for them anyway. I don't know if there's any down here, but this morning I was walking along the ocean, but between you and the ocean there's this shrubbery, big,
okay.
and I kept looking the whole time walking there, just thinking have this some gator jump out.
Yeah.
So
Did you bring your
strange.
dog with? Did you bring your dog with you down there?
No, no, a dog. He's at the spa,
Oh,
so he's there for a few days. Yeah, for his friend's house.
yes.
It's all good.
Most people put their dog in a kennel. You put your dog in a spa.
Well, no, he's at someone's house.
Oh, I see. Very
Yeah,
nice.
it's not a kennel. It's someone's house.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, I like to hear that. So very good, my friend. All right. Be safe. I'll be in
Okay, Dave.
touch and we'll talk soon.
Okay, take care.
Mm.